Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Spoiler Alert. It's kind of mixed in a little bit with the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off as well. So, welcome everybody. Let me take care of some business first and we'll get started. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right. Let's get started, shall we? Like I said, this is spoilers. So if you haven't seen something and you don't want to be spoiled, I'll give you a little bit of fair warning, but just so you know. And again, this is going to be spoilers for anything that is currently out in theaters, not sneak previews, anything like that. Like if you've already seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Volume 3, don't put it here. Don't talk about it here. Save it until next week, I'm actually going to go and see it on Thursday, as a matter of fact. So speaking of which, I did go and see, and I know this isn't really, hey Cheryl, how's it going? I know this isn't really genre, to tell you the truth, but Sisu, which is in theaters right now. SISU is the name of the movie. It's a Norwegian movie that Lionsgate has put out, and I went and saw it yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? I saw it on Friday. That's right, I saw it on Friday, and it's a ridiculous movie. It really is. It takes place at the end of World War II. The Nazis are pulling out of Finland, and they come across a gold prospector, some old grizzled dude who has found a cache of gold, and he just wants to bring his gold in. How it starts off is that they say this guy, tired of the war, and basically he left it and went off on his own. He finds this gold. The Nazis, of course, want to take it from him and they want to kill him, and he's not going to go down so easily. And so what ensues is just this um I don't know how to describe it really. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, I know people keep saying John Wick esque, if you will. Kind of, sort of. I mean, this is just more it's more ridiculousness than anything else. At one point, I actually laughed out loud because I saw, you see it coming, but at the same time, you're like, really, man? I mean, how in the fuck is he going to survive this kind of thing? I mean, he literally goes through all kinds of different ways of killing people, avoiding being killed, all this stuff, and it becomes comical at some point. Is it a bad movie? No, not really. I mean, it's a fun movie if you really like a lot of violence, in your movies, um, in that way. But am I disappointed that I paid money to see it? Probably. I probably could have waited till it came out on one of the streaming services. But I just really wanted to see it, and yeah, I saw it. Eh, you know, Is it worth your time? Probably not. It's like I said, it's more ridiculous than anything else. So, I do find it funny that it is, I guess it was shot in uh, Finnish first, I believe is what it was. So, and then of course dubbed over in English. So, yeah. Um, and that Lionsgate of all places actually took it and started distributing it here in the states. So, and elsewhere, I guess, as well. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least. Um, and I'll say one spoilerish thing, that like, since it is spoiler alert here. When the plane crashes, there was a plane. He's on the fucking plane. He kills two Nazis on the. Well, he kills one. He really shoots him beforehand, before the plane even takes off. He gets on board the plane using a pickaxe, um, and he kills the other Nazi in a spectacular way. It's a guy who's been chasing him all this time, who really should have just let things lie. And then the plane, of course, crashes because the pilot is dead, but it nosedives straight down into the ground, right? And you're thinking, there's no fucking way he could survive this thing. You'd be wrong, because it's a bog that they slam into, and he kind of straps himself in, and he fucking comes out of the bog. I mean, he literally just comes up out of the bog with his gold. And I was like, "Ugh." That's when I started laughing, because I'm just like, this is a cartoon at this point. It really is a cartoon at this point. Because, yeah, I mean, even if you're slamming into a bog at, nose diving into it, it's the same thing like hitting concrete. Um, there was no way in hell that plane was going to be, in one piece. But, oh yeah, funny shit. Um, Jedi Survivor, by the way, is out right now too, video game wise. I do have it. I have, installed it. I started playing it last night because that's when I got it, was yesterday. And so far I'm just on the first mission. I really haven't even delved into it because it was 60 gigabytes to download, is what was going on there, on including the install. I actually have the physical disc, but you need another 60 gigabytes of installing it. And that's not including all the downloadable content and whatnot. So I can't tell you if I like it or not at this point. I like the first one. The first one was fun, but we'll see how this one goes. Um, And so, kind of what prompted me to do spoiler alert today instead of, the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off is Mrs. Davis. So, initially, I was going to cover Mrs. Davis for the channel here. And I, I kept going back and forth on it, back and forth. So, for those of you who don't know, Mrs. Davis is a show on Peacock. Peacock being the NBC streaming pay for streaming service. I paid something ridiculous, like I think $20 for the year, I think is what I paid for. So I actually have Peacock. Um, and it's partially written and produced by Damon Lindelof, Mystery Box Man, who's in the same, he's part of the J.J. Abrams crew of Mystery Box things. And what the plot of the story is there is AI that has pretty much, it's not taken over the world, but everyone uses it, and it's in everyone's ear. It knows everyone's desire. So there is no war, there is no need, if you will. It answers every question and whatnot. And it is yeah, exactly, CBM. Just one charge. It was $20 for the entire year. That's all it was. Originally, I think initially it's $40, and they were given an offer or something like that for $20. So I was like, all right, I'll take it. I spend $20 on really mindless shit anyway. So I figured I could do $20 for the year. It still has commercials, obviously. So the AI, there's a nun who's played by Betty Gillespie, who, from Glow and other things as well. And she refuses to listen to the AI. She says the AI is responsible for her father's death. There's a lot more that goes into it than that. Um, well, the AI does wants to contact her, and basically does finally contact her through other people, and says, if you can find the Holy Grail, yes, I'm getting there, uh, and just help me destroy the Holy Grail, then I will turn myself off, is what the AI says. I will destroy myself. So it's ridiculousness upon ridiculousness upon ridiculous, and that is pretty much what the show is. It feels somewhat like a cleaner version of Preacher, the AMC series Preacher, which was also a comic book. Uh, and but it has a lot of ridiculousness to it. So yes, it is a lot of disjointed plots. There is a lot of mystery box to it as well, because one, Is the Holy Grail real? Two, what is the AI? Who created the AI? No one knows who created the AI. Either the Mrs. Davis is what the AI is called in the United States. It's called different things in different countries. It's around the world, but no one knows who created it. And yeah, and I'm fairly sure what it's going to be is that her father is the one that created it, in conjunction with someone else. Her father was a magician, a stage magician who was pretty dumb. Her mother was actually the one that was the brains behind the outfit. And yeah, he died supposedly on stage. So it's like I said, there's a whole bunch, like you said, Cheryl, there's a lot of disjointed plots. You're exactly right. There are a lot of disjointed plots. So episode 5 they released the first 4 episodes on Peacock, and now they're releasing 1 episode a week. So they just released episode 5. Um, and we found out who Clara is. Clara was somebody who was looking for the Grail as well. Oh, and by the way, did I mention that Lizzie, who is Betty Gillespie's character, is married to Jesus Christ, and she actually talks to him and goes and visits him in her mind. Yeah, and supposedly other people do as well. They go and visit Jesus Christ. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of this really whacked out series of events that are happening in this show. Normally I would say yes, and that's why I was kind of like I'm getting ready to cover this because it does fall in the sci-fi realm with the whole AI thing and all that. But at the same time, as I'm watching it further and further, I'm like, it's really a mystery box show. It really is a mystery box show where you don't know they're holding this intangible item above your head that you don't know about, and it's also the unreliable narrator as well. So it's you got the mystery box along with the unreliable narrator, which are 2 things I fucking hate in a show. And they're combined together, which is Damon Lindelof's bread and butter. That's what we get here. The charm of it is actually the woman who also co-created this, or created this series and co-writes this. And I think that is where some of where my hook is on this, where this is kind of hooking me in a little bit, is just her end of it. I can see the Damon Lindelof stuff in there, and I'm like, "Pfft, whatever, push that shit aside. Um, but I can't bring myself fully to cover the entire series other than doing something like this, with a spoiler alert. And yeah, and I'm gonna say this right now, and it's a spoiler if you're watching it. If you haven't seen episode 5, you cover your ears, plug your ears, whatever you want to do. I did not see Claire. I did not see Clara's head exploding in the carts. Quite honestly, that was actually a shock to me. That was one thing that was shocking. And this is after she drinks out of the Grail, and we're getting a story of what was going on. The story actually was pretty fucking funny, I have to admit, because they are on a deserted island with Clara's father, who was a mathematician. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of disjointed shit going on. And he's relating the story to both Lizzie and her ex fiance. This is before she became a nun, of course, Wiley. And they both share a liver. They share Clara's liver because Clara is dead. And yeah, it's like I said, it's really just too many fucking stories to follow. So that's why I haven't decided to cover it. But if you're into that kind of thing, there you go. It's CBM. It is a bonkers show. And it wasn't on my radar at all. And then I read kind of a quasi review of it and of the first episode before it came out, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so it's actually sci-fi. It's not something weird, not some kind of drama or whatever." And that's why I started watching it. So yeah, it is very, very bonkers. And there's swearing involved, of course. There is Was there nudity? It's on Peacock. So yeah, there's swearing, there's violence, there's all kinds of stuff there. CBM said I like bonker, but not sure if it's my type of bonkers, but bonkers. Um, you'd be surprised if you liked Preacher. This might be in the same realm. It does have a very preacher-esque feel to it. It really does. Um, yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of good actors that are in it as well. So that not just Betty Gillespie's in it, but also Ben Chapman is in it. Um, Fuck, if you go through the list, I mean, I don't even have the IMDb up on it, but yeah, there's a good amount of people that are in it that are decent actors that are in it. So yeah, you can give the first episode a try. If you have Peacock, yeah, I wouldn't say go out of your way and subscribe to Peacock, but if you want to wait until the whole series comes out and then do the free trial and then binge it, that's a good way of doing it as well. But there you go. So speaking of Peacock, July 27th, we're gonna get the Twisted Metal series that is starring Anthony Mackie as the lead there. And yes, it is based on the video game. And yes, it is a series, Twisted Metal, the series. So we got a teaser trailer yesterday, which I posted up on the Facebook page. Go and take a look over my website, suspendedfanimation.com. You can see where the Facebook page is there, and you'll see the Twisted Metal trailer, teaser trailer up there. There really wasn't much to it other than Anthony Mackie revving up a car and, you know, put in some music, and then you see the ice cream truck with the clown at the end. That's really it. So you're in Facebook jail? Oh no, Cheryl, what did you do? I've never been in Facebook jail. It's kind of funny. You'd think I would have been, but no, no, I'm not. Oh, so also posted. Oh, you posted a photo. Uh, oh, one of those nasty photos I see. Um, so by the way, those of you who have HBO Max, you have the app and all that stuff. Next month, they're going to be changing their name to just Max because supposedly they want to bring in more children. And I don't understand how changing your name to Max is going to bring in more children to the app. I don't know. That seems kind of weird because those of us of a certain age know that Cinemax, or as we used to call it, Skinamax, because it used to show, very um, softcore porn is really what it showed. Softcore porn. That's what we know it as. So, yeah, if I had kids, I would be saying, Max is a child-friendly thing. Yeah. It's really not. But that's what they're going to change their name to in May next month. They're going to have everyone re-download the app and all that stuff. So, yeah, your subscription's not going to change. Well, I should take that back. They are going to change out tiers and whatnot. I get mine free through my internet subscriber, so we'll see what I get if I end up getting ads or not. CBM says I feel like it's bad branding. It's just generic. Yeah, it's a generic name. No one knows what the fuck Max is. I mean, HBO has a much more reputable name, and I don't see why they just didn't stick with HBO. I mean, just drop the Max and just say HBO. I understand that Discovery Plus, they went off and did their own thing. There's a Discovery Plus app, even though Discovery Plus owns HBO. Anyway, yeah, it's all kinds of stupid stuff. But anyway, that's the long way of me getting to that. On June 29th, the third season of Warrior is going to be premiering on Max. If you don't know what Warrior is, again, this is non-genre stuff. This is Shannon Lee, daughter of Bruce Lee. She found Bruce Lee's original notes on Kung Fu, and she actually has done his version of kung fu, complete with violence, nudity, and it's just a fucking good show. I mean, it's a brutal show, it's a good show, and the martial arts in it just are phenomenal. And there's already 2 seasons up on HBO Max. The 3rd season's coming out, June 29th. Yeah. They can use WB Max or something. They should just said HBO, CBN. They should have just left it as HBO, and that would have been fine for everybody, but no, they have to do that. So anyway, I can't recommend Warrior enough. Warrior is actually a really good show. But again, like I said, that's gonna be on, the 3rd season is dropping, June 29th. I don't think it's dropping all at once. I think they're gonna do episode, once a week, which is good. I like that better than binge watching it. 'Cause you just lose things when you binge watch stuff. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go to the next episode. Oh, and 5 episodes later, you're kind of like falling, drifting off, and you miss a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, I know other people like to just binge it all at once, but yeah, I want some rest in between. I mean, and I'm fairly sure this 3rd season is going to be the final season. Um, it seems that's the way for most of HBO Max or Max, whatever the fuck it's called now. Um, how things are going. Not really thrilled about that. Quantumania. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which just came out, February, I believe is what it was. That's going to be premiering on Disney Plus on May 17th. So, May 17th, Quantumania comes out to Disney Plus. It's going to be coming out on Blu ray and DVD on the 16th. So, the day before. There you go. I like the movie. I actually have no qualms about the movie. A lot of people didn't like it for whatever. Yes, was it didn't do a lot of character development. I'll give it that. It was there to introduce Kang. That's really what it's there for. It's there to introduce Kang, and I'm okay with that. I had fun with it. It was a fun movie, and that's what you're supposed to have at the theaters is a fun time. So you can judge for yourself. It's going to be on HBO Max. I'm most likely going to buy it on Blu-ray, or DVD or 4K, whatever. There we go, 4K DVD. If I can actually get that out of my mouth there to go along with the other DVDs that are up here. So, hey, Stanley, how's it going? Did you want me to start all over again, Stanley? Because I'm not going to. Yeah, that's what I thought. Beetlejuice 2 is in development with Jenna Ortega at Warner Brothers. You heard that right. Supposedly everyone else is on board. And then they're adding Jenna Ortega to it as well, who most likely is going to be Winona Ryder's daughter, I think, at this point. So, do we need this now? No, it's probably about 20 years too late. So, yeah, maybe 30 years too late. But there you go. No one's getting any younger. And what was it? The last movie was in 89. Was that right? 89, 99. Yeah, so 30 years. Yeah, yeah, it's 30 years too late. So we'll see what happens. And again, this is over at WB, so everything's mercurial over there. You never know if it's going to appear or not, if it'll become a Max original, or if it'll become an actual movie, or if it's just going to go and become a series, or if it's just going to die in its crib, which is most likely going to be the case. So, and then June 9th, we of course, Transformers Rise of the Beasts is coming out. So we got another trailer for that. And good God, that just looks like it's a busy fucking movie. Don't get me wrong, the first Transformers I was okay with. The first Transformers movie was all right. The second movie, okay. Third movie was just boring as fuck. And I think there was a fourth movie in there too, someplace at one point, and you know, um, Yeah, there was a 4th movie, that's right. Good God. And that just was just trash is really what it was. And I understand, um, why they keep getting made is because people go and see them, they just don't care. There's a lot of people that are like, "Transformers, oh, I'm gonna go see it." Alright. There you go, meathead. Yeah, people still watch Transformers CBM. I'm with you on that too. Um, but yeah, I guess this one takes place in the 90s. Yeah, I'm not for it. So, anyway, yeah, that's coming out on June 9th if you're interested in being bored to death in the theater. It just looks really busy to me. But yeah. Um, Something else that's coming out in June. June 29th, we actually got the official word that June 29th, the first half of The Witcher season 3, aka Henry Cavill's last Witcher season, is coming out on Netflix. And then the second part's going to be in July. Um, so yeah, they're going to split it up into two. Uh, June and then July. Stanley says I was too old already when those toy commercials were popular. Yeah. I don't know if it's actually the final season, Stanley, of The Witcher. The littlest Hemsworth, Liam Hemsworth, is taken over. Um, they're probably going to put a muscle suit on him or something like that to get him to look bigger. I always give shit about Liam Hemsworth, but he's actually a decent actor. I liked him in Westworld. I thought he was good in that. But he's always kind of a sidekick as far as I'm concerned. He just feels like a sidekick, but maybe that's just me. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And speaking of shit shows, June 16th, The Flash is coming to theaters. It's getting really good reviews. I understand this. Stanley says I know, but I'm less interested now without Cavill. Um, we'll see. I mean, if the story's there, sure, but I mean, if the stories suck, then I'm with you on that. So yeah, June 16th, The Flash comes to theaters, and okay, yeah, I know it's getting good reviews or good word of mouth from all the people, all the celebrities that have seen it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping this finally puts the nail in the Snyderverse coffin and just ends it. Because speaking of Snyderverse, Snyder did the Snyderverse Expo or something like that, and what was it, last weekend or the weekend before, where he showed his DC movies, and basically what he's trying to do, he's trying to pressure the Warner Brothers into doing more of the Snyderverse, and Warner Brothers is basically saying that to him, and they're flipping him off and going, fuck you, no. As a matter of fact, there's been reports now that Warner Brothers executives now are saying that um, it was a big, huge fucking mistake to bow to fan pressure to do the Snyder cut, just because it didn't appease anyone. And it just led to more of the same of give us more, give us more, give us more, give us more, give us more. Because you know how that vocal group is, that they're just never satisfied. As long if you give them something, then they're just going to want more. Um, so yeah, I no. Um, so during that whole Snyderverse Expo thing, Snyder said that his original idea for the Amazonians, and also for the gods, the Greek gods that you see in Justice League, like Zeus and all that stuff, where the Greek gods were actually Kryptonians. Yeah, they were Kryptonian descendants, and but they didn't have all the same power set, obviously. And the Warner Brothers executives had shot that down. That's why it's kind of implied a little bit in the Justice League movie. I didn't see it, but yeah, and so that's what he wants to revive again, and everybody on the internet's kind of going, no, that's a stupid fucking idea. And I'm going to be one of those same people going, that's a really stupid fucking idea. So yeah, no, fuck that. Um, Stanley says Cavill is supposed to be done as super. Yeah, Cavill is done. He has been done as Superman and won't be reprising the role. This was made clear long before James Gunn got hired on. So even James Gunn's Superman Legacy movie that he's doing, that was greenlit before James Gunn got hired. So that movie was already in the greenlit box, and they were just looking for a writer and a director. And when James Gunn got hired on, and he was in charge now of finding the writer and director for this greenlit movie because it has a timestamp on it, he said, "Fuck it, I'm going to do it," is what he said. So he ended up starting to write it, and he's going to direct it. That's the reason why he's writing and directing it. Only because there is a timestamp on it of when it needs to come out. That's because the Warner Brothers executives had already put this in play. Has nothing to do with James Gunn. And this comes from James Gunn's mouth, obviously. So, yeah. I know the fanboys, the Snyderverse fanboys love to, vilify James Gunn on all of this, but he had nothing to do with any of that stuff. So, it was all done before he even signed any papers. So yeah, the only reason why he met with Henry Cavill was to ask that he's like, "Hey, I know that they're not going to let you come back as Superman, but did you want to come on for any other DC characters?" That's really what he was doing. Was he was kind of priming the well there to see if he could bring him to come in and do some other characters for DC. CBM says it was never going to end. That fan base complaining, it was pretty oh yeah, it was super obvious that the fan base. You never ever give into a minority vocal fan base like that. You never ever do that, because once you do, you're their bitch for life at that point. Yeah, and that's exactly what the Warner Brothers executives became. Was they became the Snyderverse fanboys bitches. Yeah, that's right. I said it. So anyway. So yeah, June 16th, The Flash is coming to theaters, and as who said it here? Stanley says he heard it's a great Batman movie. Is what I heard too. So yeah. Something fun actually from Warner Brothers for a change is we got the first teaser footage from the Venture Brothers movie that's called it takes place literally right after the season 7 finale, where the season 7 finale left off. It's called The Venture Brothers Radiant is the Blood of the Baboon Heart. Yeah, so and I'm all there for it. I'm If it gets released in theaters, which I would, I doubt it. I really, really highly doubt it. I'm gonna pay to go and see it. Um, yeah, I'm all there for this. I want to see the end of this. I actually just rewatched season 7 um when this trailer came out, because I was like, you know what? I really don't remember um how season 7 went. I mean, I knew snippets here and there, but it'd been a couple of years. So I actually rewatched season 7, and it's so well put together and just calls back so much shit from the previous seasons. And it's just so well done, so well written, acted. There's just little things that are in there too. And it's awesome. I mean, it's one of those shows. Yeah, Stanley, it's worth a rewatch. It's on HBO Max, or Max, if you will. So if you have that, it's always a good thing to go through and rewatch it again. It's a quick rewatch, and it's not uncomfortable. It's actually it's kind of welcoming. To tell you the truth, I liked it. Yes, that's right. And hey, Morks. Sure. I'll go through and recap everything for you. There you go. It's all done. Stanley says, such a long time ago. That was in the before times. That's right. It was in the before times. You're right. But I heard it's coming out at the end of this year, the movie. The Venture Brothers Radiant is the Blood of the Baboon Heart. Um, Yeah. So for the teaser, for those of you who hadn't seen it, again, it's up on my Facebook page. Just go over to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look over at my Facebook link that's there. That'll take you over to my page, and just scroll down a little bit. You'll see the teaser trailer in there, or you can just look on YouTube as well. Um, but it literally takes place after the. So the way season 7 ended was that Dean was um, fooling around with Hank's girlfriend, um, and Hank walks in on them. He goes through a snowstorm in order to get to them, and he almost dies because he has a concussion. He's playing football out in the snow, ran headfirst into a fire hydrant, and Scare Bear ends up picking him up and taking him. It's a long story, but anyway, after Hank recovers in the hospital, he self releases himself and just walks away, and that's kind of how the season ended, with Hank leaving, and yeah, so yeah, and so everyone's looking for Hank. And how the teaser trailer starts, it basically starts off with Brock getting a location where Hank is. He and the OSI team go and find him. They see that he's behind a dumpster someplace. They go there, and there's someone dressed in Hank's clothing laying behind the dumpster looking like they're dead. And that's where it leaves off. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff I forgot about too, Marks. That's why I had to rewatch it. I was like, "What the fuck? I don't remember any of this." So, yeah, I had to go back and rewatch it. And I'll probably have to do a recap at some point too. Um, so it seems like a lot of stuff is coming out, right? That a lot of stuff is just kind of rushing out at the moment, that you know, and there's a reason for this. There is an imminent writer strike that's going to happen here, depending on how everyone votes. So May 1st, so tomorrow, is where the WGA members are going to vote to either authorize or not authorize a strike. And I don't know if you remember the last strike, which was 2007, around there. I believe it was 2007. Yeah, 2007. That was when reality TV sprang to life, was in 2007. That's when you got the Kardashians and you got the Jersey Shores and you got all that bullshit. And the reason why was because the writer's strike in 2007. Um, so yeah, this really needs to be nipped in the bud. Studios need to start paying their writers correctly. They need to actually start giving royalties and all that stuff that they've been neglecting to do, and they need to work with the writers at this point, but I don't think they're going to, and I think we're going to end up in another strike. So Stanley says, I just remember that Dr. Wife exists. I'll be my... Oh, and by the way, Stanley, so remember on Adult Swim it used to be uh censored and all that stuff. On HBO Max, none of these are censored. So there is, how shall I say this? There is a Doctor Girlfriend scene where it's kind of an eyes wide shut kind of scenario. There you go. So there you go. If you need that, see the voice thing is just, yeah. I mean the body and the voice, it just it's that's just wrong altogether. When does HBO Max change names again? Next month. Marks sometime in the middle of next month is when they're going to do it. I can't remember the date right now offhand, but yeah, that's when they're going to do it. So switching back over to gears a little bit, to Disney or Hulu, for example, and I keep touting this show. I don't know if anyone, and again, this is a non-genre show. The Great, which is on Hulu. Uh, it's not Dakota Fanning, but Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning is in it, as long, and also Charles Holt is his name. The guy who plays Renfield in the new movie Renfield with Nicolas Cage. So he plays the Czar. and Elle Fanning plays Catherine the Great, and it's the show called The Great. One of the funniest fucking shows I have ever seen. There are 2 seasons up right now on Hulu. I highly suggest you watch it because the 3rd and final season is gonna be out on May 12th, and that's gonna be it for it. It is one of the best written, funniest, biting, sarcastic shows that's out there that also is just politically relevant, by showing you stuff from the past. Um, yeah. I'm not kink shaming, Stanley. I'm giving you options there. I was just saying what doesn't work for me on that. Uh, Stanley said, "I liked, The Great so far." Holt was the main, war boy. Yes, he was also, yes, in Fury Road, exactly. He was also Beast in the, um, X-Men First Class as well. He was young Beast in that. So, Um, great show though. It's worth watching. It is definitely worth your time to go and watch that show, and it's just funny. I mean, just really funny. I'm sure there's a couple of different put downs that I took note of. Now I don't know where they're at. They're someplace around here that I wanted to remember because they were just so well done. And speaking of Disney again, so, Ahsoka, remember Ahsoka is coming here? So Wes Chatham has signed on to Ahsoka to play Captain Enoch, who is going to be Admiral Thrawn's right-hand man, which I thought was Captain or Admiral, Pelleton, but, I guess so this is a new character that they're inventing called Enoch. So he's an entire new character, hasn't been in any of the novelizations or the comics or anything like that. But it's made and West Chatham is gonna be in that. So, um, those of you West Chatham fans, there you go. No, there isn't any, historical accuracy at all in The Great, Stanley, there isn't at all. There are chunks of what happened, what she did in there, but they're all taken out of order. Yeah, Admiral Peloton, that's it. You're exactly right, Stanley. He is a fitness device. But, you saw him in the final, episode, not the final episode, but the penultimate episode of The Mandalorian. He's the one who had the fleet that, Grand Moff, Gideon was talking to. He was the old dude. That was him. So, it's Pellaton is how it's spelled. And sorry for the noise that's happening. My asshole neighbors are out in the hallway with their fucking kids. So, there you go. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, September of this year on Peacock yet again, The Continental, which is going to be a spin-off of the John Wick series, takes place in the 70s, and missing from the teaser trailer is Mel Gibson. Yeah. Don't know why, but he is. He's missing from the trailer. Probably because there was some, you know, other controversy that happened with him. I can't keep track anymore of how many controversies all these different actors have. So yeah, um, that's going to be in September of this year on Peacock. And of course, that's not to be confused with the Ballerina movie, which is also a spin-off of the John Wick series, which is a movie, if I'm not mistaken. Did I mention the Silo show already? No, Stanley, I didn't. I saw that it was up, but I honestly don't know anything what it's about other than you're not supposed to leave the silo. That's it keeps popping up on my Facebook page and I keep saying, why am I fucking seeing this? Why am I fucking seeing this? It's too repetitive. Stop showing me this. Stop showing me this. I'm not interested. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I all I know is it's supposed to be people in a silo, they're not supposed to leave the silo, and that's about it, and yeah. And that's all the ads keep showing me. They won't say anything more than that, and I was like, "Yeah, if you can't tell me anything more than that, then I'm not interested." So, and then coming in 2024 to Max, The Penguin is gonna be coming out. So we got a, teaser trailer for The Penguin as well that came out. So oh, it's a self-published novel. Okay. Yeah. So The Penguin is coming out in 2024. Colin Farrell, of course, reprising the role, and I'm looking forward to this. I mean, it looks good. It looks decent. I'm up for it. I really am. What's my next see movie? Um, well, I'm gonna go see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on Thursday. Works. Let me see here. I'm going over to suspendedfanimation.com and I'm looking at the schedule. Probably my next must-see movie is gonna be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is on June 2nd. Yeah, I think that's my next one. And then after that will probably be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I really kinda wanna see Blue Beetle as well, tell you the truth. Blue Beetle is one of those characters I'm like, Yeah, you know what? I can go and see that. That looks interesting." But yeah, I would say Spider-Man is gonna be my next, like, big movie that I'm looking forward to. But, yeah, there's a couple movies here and there. So speaking of which, the Marvels, the trailer came out, or the teaser trailer, I should say, came out, and it's gonna be coming out on November 10th, the Marvels, which of course is gonna have, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Spectrum, who is, yeah, and I don't know, I mean, the trailer looked okay. I'm just not a Brie Larson fan. I am not a Brie Larson fan, and I'm also not a fan of the character Miss Marvel, what they did to the character on the TV show. In the comics, I like the comic version of Miss Marvel. I don't like the MCU version of Miss Marvel. So Stanley says Blue Beetle looks super cheap to me. So Blue Beetle was initially supposed to be an HBO Max only movie, and then they moved it over to a feature film. So they pumped up the budget a bit more and the special effects. So what you saw were mostly practical effects with some budget, some of the budget effects in there as well. That was for the teaser trailer or the trailer that came out. They're of course working on that right now to make it look better. Um, that actually looks fun to me. It just looks like a fun character, and if they do it right, I mean, it's a comic accurate suit as well. The comic accurate suit is just fucking awesome. They do a good job of that. So that right there, and then also Zolo, who is from the not Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, the Cobra Kai series. He's a good actor. He's a fun actor, and I'm looking forward to see how he's going to bring Jamie Reyes to life, or Jaime Reyes. I know it's Jamie the way it's spelled, but it's Jaime. Yeah, I like the actor as well. What else do I have here? Oh yeah. So the next thing that's coming out actually comes out on Wednesday. No, Thursday. Thursday is going to be Star Wars Visions Volume 2, which is coming out to Disney Plus here. So there's a trailer that's been released. And of course, if you haven't seen Star Wars Visions, the first volume, go and watch it. I mean, it's great. It's a vignette, it's a collection of different styles of Star Wars stories, and they're all done by different anime houses. That's what Volume 2 is going to be around. Is going to be about as well. And if it's anything like volume 1, uh, it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, Mark says, "I'm not watching the Marvels. I've never been invested in any of those characters, and their most recent adaptations have not been amusing to me." Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go and see it because, I'm covering it, 1, for the channel, and then 2, it's the completist in me. I wanna, plug that little gap of Marvel there and see what it's gonna have because it's going to bring in Kang at some point there. Plus Monica Rambeau is my Captain Marvel. Uh, that's who I grew up with, and, she later became Spectrum is what, and then I think, she became was it Ion or something like that? I can't remember offhand. Marvel changes names all the time of characters they don't know what to do with, and, so I think she's in her Spectrum phase in this movie, and I like the actress who plays Monica Rambeau in this too, so Photon, thank you, Photon, thank you, CBM. That's what it was. Ion, Photon. Ion is actually DC, Photon is Marvel, that's right. Stanley says, "Okay, I wasn't a fan, it was too anime for me, too far out from Star Wars." Um, and I think that's kinda where you need to make a little disconnect when you're there and just watch it for the stories, and I like animation, so for me, animation is another medium of storytelling. That's all it is. And this actually had some really good stories to it, talking again about Star Wars Visions. And this again kind of reminded me of Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix in a way, but putting it in a Star Wars universe. And not all of them had to be Star Wars esque, if you will. It didn't have to be in the star. It just needed to be in that galaxy far, far away. Yeah. That was her pilot call sign. Photon was their pilot call sign in the MCU, but Photon was actually what the character's name was in the comic. So that was the callback to the comic, was putting the mom's call sign as Photon. Yep. What else do I have here? Going in between pages. Oh yeah. I might have mentioned this before, but and I kind of called this one. Star Wars The Bad Batch is going to return for a third and final season. That's right, a third and final season. I kind of had that feeling that was what that was going to happen because it dragged its feet too much on the story. It really needed to pick up the story that happened in the last 4 episodes and make that part of the season, the main season story. Yeah, the second season was crap. It really was until the last 4 episodes where they rushed everything again, and I they needed to put that last 4 episode stories as the main arc for season 2. They just didn't know how to run that storyline. I don't know. It just eh. And by the way, I'm just gonna say it right now, Tech is not dead. That character is not dead. All they found was his glasses. He's just saying, "Where are my glasses? I don't know where my glasses are." Yes, like a Velma. That's what that was. Yes. What else do we have here? I might have already talked about. Actually, I did already talk about this. I did a Saturday morning blast, so I'm already at the end of where I was, what I wanted to talk about. Anyway, there we go. So that's all I got for you, like news wise on stuff. A spoiler alert. What else have I been watching? Um, Not really a whole lot. Oh, you know what? So, if those of you who have streaming service, if you're only doing streaming, Pluto TV is a streaming service that has a whole bunch of channels, if you will. And one of those channels happens to be the Paramount Plus channel. So, and again, this is a free streaming service. It has commercials. So they're showing the entirety of Picard season 2 right now. Oh my god, what a shit show that is. Fuck. Um, I watched the first episode and then I watched the last 2 episodes. That's what it was. That's really all you need to do is to watch the first episode and the last 2 episodes. They're all written by Akiva Goldsman, and good God, you can tell it's like the worst fucking fanfic I've ever read or seen. Um, wow. I mean, what was set up in the first episode is completely negated by the time you get to the last episode. It was, I mean, literally, they just kind of wave their hand away, and it's like everything's gone and it's back to normal. And I was like, wow, what a shit show. The only thing that wasn't changed was what's her face? Agnes's character. That was the only thing that stayed the same. At the end. Stanley says Picard season 2 is worse than season 1. I didn't even have to watch that season. Yeah. Yeah. But everyone says it's season 3. Uh, if you're enjoying what you're watching, great. All I'm saying is not it's not for me. Uh, I tried watching it and good God, that it's just shit. Yeah. Uh, CBM says, thank you for telling us about that Kryptonian thing with Zack Snyder, and I'm still disgusted by it. Topically, I'm going to actually watch a couple of episodes of Titans because it has the Doom Patrol. Thank you for mentioning that, CBM, by the way. So yes, I have been watching Titans, season 4.2, I guess you could say. And they've been releasing one episode a week. That is HBO Max, by the way. And yes, they have brought back, they keep saying that, other places have been saying they're bringing back the HBO Max version, or excuse me, the Titans version of Doom Patrol, which was shown in season 1. That's actually wrong. We don't know what version of Doom Patrol that we've actually seen because all we're seeing is Larry and Cliff. That's it. All we've seen are Larry and Cliff. We haven't seen Crazy Jane. We haven't seen Elastigirl. We haven't seen anybody else. All we've seen are and Cyborg and Cyborg. That's it. So we don't know what version we're actually watching of them. But yes, Doom Patrol it has been the last 2 episodes, and it's been a lot of fun. Our partial version of Doom Patrol is there. Mork says no explanation about the Borg Queen. It was yeah, the Borg Queen thing was just the only thing I found disappointing about that, or that was Wershing, the woman who played the Borg Queen in Picard season 2. That was one of her last roles, and of course she passed away from cancer. And she's actually a good actress. I mean, she's been in a lot of different genre shows, and having that be her last role, I was kind of disappointed. Um, but she is she was a good actress. She was a really good actress, and one of my favorites too. So, um, even if I don't like Titans, even Red Letter Media liked it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Titans is just a shit show. It really is. I'm just watching to finish it off, quite honestly, at this point. I'm not covering it at all. And the whole thing with Brother Blood, yeah, the whole storyline with Brother Blood is just dumb. It really is. It's just dumb. Having to go back to Trigon again for this 4th season has just been tiring more than anything else. And I wish they had done something else, quite honestly. Um, Considering that it had to do with online video games, they could have just brought in that video game dude from the animated Titans show and had him be the bad guy at this point. Because why not? Instead of having to have a redo of Trigon all over again. But that's the way they want to go out. That's the way they're going to go out. I will say this though for Titans, having Buona Beast come in, uh, not this week's episode, but last week's episode, that was just kind of a fanboy factor for me. Is just having a live action version of Buona Beast on there, which of course he's now called Freedom Beast because Buona is a derogatory term. It's for a white guy, and of course, they did have the white guy version of that. They did allude to him, but they also mentioned Animal Man, and they also mentioned Vixen in that episode. So, Animal Man's a huge thing. That any DC property mentions Animal Man. If you don't know who the fuck Animal Man is, go and take a look at DC Comics in the '90s. I believe Grant Morrison was the one who did the '90s version of Animal Man, and it's so fucking trippy and out there. It's it's even more trippy than his Doom Patrol. So, and I actually had collected that one. That one was a good series as well. That was a lot of fun. But Stanley says even Red Letter Media liked Picard season 3. Okay, good for them. I saw the first episode, I think, of that. Yeah, the first episode of Picard season 3, I believe, is on that Paramount Plus um, channel on Pluto TV as well. I want to say I watched. No, I was going to, and then I fell asleep. That's because I think I was watching the end of Picard, season 2, and it was so fucking boring and dumb. But anyway, so the other great thing about Pluto TV is they actually have the old episodes of Star Trek on there as well, and they have the redone versions. So they have the new special effects in there. So it's the same old box, the with the bars, the black bars on the side of the screen instead of at the top and the bottom. So it's the old 4:3 ratio, but with the new special effects in there, and it's a lot of fun watching that because I hadn't seen all the episodes with the new special effects in there. And having them cleaned up, it's kind of weird watching it with the new special effects, but also interesting at the same time because they're trying to match it to 60s specifications in a way, but also bring it into the modern age, I guess you could say in the 21st century. But anyway, so they say it's a really good send off for the TNG crew instead of the bad Nemesis. Eh, that's good. That's right. I did watch the first episode. That's right. It's with Beverly Crusher. That's right. I did watch the first episode of that Picard season 3. That's how good it was. I had to be reminded about what it was about for a second there. Good God. Yeah, I'll probably do the same thing this time next year when it comes out on Pluto TV for free. I'll watch the last 2 episodes and then I'll go, oh, okay, that's how it ended. That was pretty shitty. So Mork says I'm watching more Pluto TV than all the other streaming services combined, especially when Netflix, those assholes removed the It Crowd. I don't know what the It Crowd is. Is that about IT groups, Morks? Do they go around making sure that people have turned on and off their computers? Are they removing a lot of porn from people's computers? So what's going on? Got it. The IT crowd. Yeah. Well, so what do you guys think? Should I or should I not cover Mrs. Davis? I mean, I kind of already covered the first 5 episodes of Mrs. Davis. I don't know if I can actually stick with it, and you know what? Screw it. I think I'm just gonna do it as an is it worth my time when it's all done and said and done. I think that's what's gonna happen, you know? I don't think I could do it weekly. I'm fairly sure it's gonna piss me off in the end. It's Damon Lindelof, you know? So, I am fairly sure it's gonna piss me off in the end. It is very Lindelofy. I agree with you, Stanley. It really is. It's very mystery box-ish. So with that said, yeah, it's gonna be an is it worth my time, Cheryl? It definitely is. Yeah. So with that said, what else do I have going on the rest of this week? Tomorrow I'm gonna be off. Tuesday, well, Tuesday and Wednesday. You know what? I'm gonna be off until Friday, quite honestly. Uh and what I'm gonna do is on Friday, I'm gonna do another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is gonna be on Friday. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. I know Sweet Tooth has already dropped this weekend, but I haven't started watching any of it, and I'm not gonna, like, try and force myself to watch all of it. So, yeah. No, I'm not doing Mrs. Davis weekly. Mark's definitely not doing that weekly. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna do, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Is It Worth My Time? On Friday. On Saturday, I'm gonna be off, and then Sunday we'll come back around again to another Is It Worth My Time? Spoiler alert, we'll see what happens on that one. That way I can play some more Jedi Survivor and see how far I get before I get pissed off at having to run and jump across the wall there. I'm sorry, but those the whole thing about running and jumping across the wall, it just pisses me off. I now remember what pissed me off about that game, and it was the running along the walls and then having to jump on something, jump to another wall and all that. So, yes, I do have a PS5. I have it on PS5. Yeah. So I just loaded it last night, Marks, and just started playing it. I'm right within the first mission, and I started it late, so I was like, I'm not gonna sit up all night doing this. So I did the responsible thing and ate dinner and went to bed. Not in that order. Well, yes, in that order, but yeah. Anyway, the PC version runs like crap. Okay. Yeah, I had to. It took me about half an hour to download 60 gigs. I'll try, Marks. I will. Oh, I probably should have mentioned this at the very beginning too. Uh, Richard K. Hessel, if you're out there, um, the poster and the pin are going to you because I never heard back from Yasi Sufi for the Mandalorian season 3 contest. So those are going out to you. They're sitting right here next to me. I just need to send them out. And Cheryl, yours will be going out next week as well. So I'll be sending everything out. Anyway, with that said, thank you everybody who joined me today in the chat. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing and you know who you are out there, Marks, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Raymond K. Hessel. Did I say Richard? I said Richard. Sorry, I meant Raymond K. Hessel. So if you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. So one of the videos, my vast video library pops it up here just for you. If you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also have all the links to my social media and all the links to my pages as well. All right. With that said, thank you, everyone. I will see you again, not until Friday. So have a good rest of your week and a good rest of your weekend as well. Um, and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out because otherwise it might leave a mark, you know? Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend and see you on Friday. Have a good time. Good night, everyone, or good day, good afternoon. One of you, I don't know. I don't speak any other languages at this point. Thanks. Bye.